Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This has been my first week on YouTube and it has been exciting. I get a lot of feedback and a lot of constructive criticism, which is great, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of your suggestions. What do you think works best? And I'm open to different opportunities. At the present time, I would like to discuss Belarus, of course. It has been all week of tumultuous times there. Also, if you think about it, this has been coming for some time. People always want change. Lukashenko has been in power since the collapse of Soviet Union since 1991. That is too long, and everything in life requires change. You cannot stay stagnant. And the new use of Belarus and everybody else, they want change. It has been the same for too long. And the world is constantly spinning and moving, so this was like a natural process. However, Lukashenko never wants to leave. It seems he would rather die at the helm at like age 90, but never leave the governing role and, continue being a president. So, there's a difference between Lukashenko and Putin, but there are also many parallels. For example, Putin jails his opponents too. Khodorkovsky spent many years in jail. Berezovsky had to go into exile. Well, he's dead now, but at the time. Lukashenko jailed last month Viktor Babariko. He was an opposition leader and actually had some clout. He was very wealthy in the financial sector, banking to be exact. But for example, Putin proposed constitutional amendments in January in Russia. He held a vote on July 1st. The difference is, Putin did not make anybody stuff ballots. What he did, he posed yes or no question, and majority of Russian populace had no idea what they were exactly voting for, except the word change is needed. So that's how he got that through very simply. In Lukashenko's case, he thought that by stuffing ballots through the windows, there's videos of that, and suppressing opposition in every way possible, and even using force would be a successful tactic. Well, it doesn't work that way. So that's mistake number one. Number two, Lukashenko let go of his parliament yesterday, which he thinks as long as he controls everything, it will work out. Well, not so fast. Putin, even when he dissolved something, he made changes to it and he still appeased the opposition by throwing them a bone. For example, Zhirinovsky, leader of LDPR, has been around for ages. He appeases them, throws them some bones. For example, the big scandal in Khabarovsk where the governor was arrested from LDPR Furgal, that was horrible, and of course it's probably trumped up because, it took 20 years for Russia to decipher something? That's not true. But at the same time, the new appointed interim governor, he's from the opposition LDPR party too. So Putin, as I said, does throw many bones to different opponents, even though they're small and insignificant, but still. At the same time, at least he gives the populace some type of control, or actually the thought that they have control. Meanwhile, they of course don't. Moreover, Putin also does not sell himself. He is not a prostitute for hire, so to speak. Lukashenko tried that angle. He tried offering Westerners to come to Belarus visa-free. He wanted foreign money. He was grandstanding about, we're going to purchase gas from somewhere else, not Russia. We're going to get a better deal, highest bidder. That doesn't work that way. And Lukashenko positioning, how small Belarus that? Bidding to highest bidder never worked out. It never worked out even for Ukraine in one sense, because all that happens is like last chocolate king, Poroshenko. He got a lot of Western funds. How they ended up being misappropriated and funneled later, that's another question. He's under so many investigations and indictments now that it's not even funny. So and Ukraine is saying, Belarus has a chance now to have a revolution. Well, what did Ukraine's revolution do? Even though the West helps them tremendously, because the country is so corrupt, you can do 20 revolutions there, but it's going to be all the same. Same if you don't have a strong leader. You have an actor now who's a president who is not strong. He's losing majority of support. There's not anything notable about him. It's like same goes for Tikhanovskaya now, the opposition leader of Belarus, who is currently in exile in Lithuania. She's not an eloquent speaker. If you hear her and understand Russian, her speech is quite terrible. It is almost like a Soviet terminology, every cook can run a country. That was the biggest phrase to encourage everyone in Soviet Union. But at the same time, in communism, no, you cannot run a country. The elite rules. In US, at least you have an American dream. If you work hard, there's still opportunities regardless of anything. But not in a communist type of society, and even post-communist era there, it is corrupt. So first the Bolsheviks stole everybody's lands and property in 1917. Then Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, and everything was stolen from the government again into private pockets. That is what Russian billionaires are now. There's no honest billionaire or millionaire in Russia. It does not exist. And also, if they are, they're also given a cut to the government. Putin approves them. They have to be pro-Putin. They cannot be in any opposition. Otherwise, they would have to leave a country. And even then, UK is experiencing huge turmoil now because there's so many Russian oligarchs and their children that they're starting to influence even British politics, including Brexit. And they're too involved in the politics of Britain, and yet they're still supporting Putin in certain ways. So that's creating a huge problem in Britain, and it has been for some time. It was not noticed. Yes, Britain does big articles. Yes, big poisoning of Skripal. Yes, the horrible death of Litvinenko poisoned by polonium. But at the same time, Russia has been trying to infiltrate and influence London politics for some time now. It just hasn't gotten enough attention and understanding until now Brexit happened. And what does Britain have with Brexit now? Not much, truly. I mean, yes, EU has its problems, but what is Britain going to be with Brexit long term? But let's get back to Belarus and Lukashenko. So Lukashenko made all these flawed errors now, which are pretty much fatal to his career. So the only things that he has left, and yesterday he did contact Putin in regards to security and helping him out. But again, there's a big but here. Will Putin bail him out one more time? It's clear that Putin does not believe in Lukashenko's loyalty. Yes, Russia probably will help out Belarus because it is the border and Russia will not lose Belarus to Lithuania. Also, even though Lithuania, Poland, and Ukraine made a Lublin Triangle Pact, the problem is that Lithuania will never officially try to have any type of military action towards Russia. If Lithuania even, let's say, sends some troops in Belarus, they're not going to be successful against Russia. And everybody knows NATO will not take on Russia because it causes too much different problems, too many scenarios. That's why we always had Cold War. That's why we always had arms race. Unless it's completely attack with nukes involved, I doubt that will ever happen, even though NATO does stop Russia going further into Western Europe, of course. So yes, there are certain mechanisms in play, and whereas the troops are located, like US troops now, were relocated from Germany to Poland, so Poland is strengthening a lot of their borders. Lithuania is having NATO training. So there's a lot of things that are happening that is true, which is close to the Russian borders, but still, an all-out attack on Russia and vice versa for Belarus, that's not going to happen. Because if it was going to happen, it would have happened over Crimea and warm water port entrance that Crimea does have in certain access and certain strategic interests. So if it didn't happen yet, it's not going to happen. So let's get back to Belarus. What awaits Belarus going forward? Well, at this time, either Russia steps in and Putin helps Lukashenko, but at the same time, Lukashenko's end will be always a slave to Putin, which Lukashenko has his pride to a degree, but I think at this point, Lukashenko is willing to sell himself to anyone who's going to keep him a leader of Belarus. That would be, his sons are not interested in politics and to take over. He does have 3 sons. One is very young, is 17, that's his favorite, who always travels with him. His other sons actually served in the military and special forces. One is 44, another one in his 30s, both involved in politics, but at the same time they don't seem to have strong character, even though they did win some awards on the military level, that they don't seem to be strong leaders or emerging or even liked or much known about them from a political perspective for Belarusians, for him to handle over the reins to his sons. And the youngest one is not even interested in politics. He is going into university to study biology at this point, and he clearly does not seem to have any interest or possess any type of qualities. Well, he's still so young, at 17. I mean, it's hard to say what his son actually going to do going forward. He's still a teenager, literally. So that's where does it leave the West? Yes, Ukraine will continue. Tikhanovskaya, is she going to win and actually become a president of Belarus officially? No, even though she mentioned today that she's preparing to talk to the Western nations about forming coalition and council and being a leader, well, she's not strong enough. Yes, somebody's helping her. A lot of people will be backing her. But again, she's not an eloquent speaker. She's not that smart. I mean, yes, she's, trio of women, they stand for something. It is like, different type of revolution. It was the same as like, the news made it. Pussy Riot, the ones who sang in church, which, that was actually crude because you should not be doing that in church. And yes, they were all over the Western news. Oh, opposition, these brave women against Putin. They were jailed for some time. Nobody even remembers them now. They're bare passing. Tikhanovskaya will be one of that too. She'll be soon in passing. Who will be taking over if Lukashenko doesn't stay? It'll be someone who gets along with Russia, guaranteed. It would be probably new elections with different type of leadership. Viktor Babariko, he could run again. He never had any problems with Russia and seemed to be neutral as far as, his like or dislike or hate. But overall, it seems to me Belarus only has two options now. Option A, the West will help them, Tikhanovskaya will not last, Russia will interfere based on security threat from outside, externally, based on the union agreements. Then someone pro-Russian will get in. Well, not 100% pro-Russian because Belarusian people don't want that, but someone who's neutral at least with Russia. Then Russia will make new dealings with them. They'll make new agreements. Putin is a smart player. As much as he's evil, he's very smart and very strategic person overall. So he'll have his strategies there and always did and probably already knows what the outcome will be. The West will help. Of course, the West always stands for democracy and democratic elections and having freedom. But how much influence the West will have in Belarus at this time, it still remains to be seen. Yes, West got a stronghold of Ukraine, but Ukraine is one of those nations where all they need is Western money because there's nothing changing there. The quality of life is not improving. The life is not improving. Donbass situation has been a temps passé for so long now that, this conflict continues, hot or cold, but now everybody's so focused on Belarus and also internal issues happening in US that Ukraine now is somewhat forgotten. It's no longer an election topic. It's no longer a main discussion topic. Yes, it's there, but that's about it. That's as good as it gets for them. So I would like for everybody to let me know what they think. What do you think the parallels are between Lukashenko and Putin outside of being dictators in their own right? Or what do you think will happen next? I'm always curious to hear your comments. Please click like and subscribe to my channel, and you can also read my articles at www.communalnews.com under Kristina Kitova. Happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you.